You can't build a life on lies. For years in Jackson, Ellie tried to be normal, but when she finally forced Joel to tell the truth about the hospital, her world shattered. Her immunity, the one thing that gave her life meaning, was rendered useless. Joel didn't just save her, he robbed her of her destiny. The bond is severed. Ellie isolates herself in bitter anger, denying Joel her forgiveness. Yet in that dark isolation, Dina becomes her light. During a warm festival dance, their tension boils over into a long-awaited kiss. For a brief moment, Ellie isn't a broken survivor. She is just a girl tasting real happiness. But the past always claims its debt. The next day, during a blizzard, Ellie tracks a missing Joel to a secluded lodge, walking straight into a nightmare. Pinned to the floor, helpless, she is forced to witness Abby brutally execute Joel. This is a catastrophic psychological trauma. Ellie had just told Joel she wanted to try and forgive him. Abby permanently stole that closure. The survivor's guilt mutates into pure, toxic rage. She didn't protect him, and she didn't forgive him in time. Refusing the safety of Jackson, Ellie packs her backpack and prepares to leave for Seattle, but she doesn't go alone. Dina refuses to let her drown in that darkness by herself, stepping into the abyss right alongside her. Her descent into hell has officially begun. Seattle turns Ellie into a weapon of pure, unadulterated rage. She doesn't care about the war zones or the factions. She is there for blood. Alongside Dina, the hunt begins immediately. Jordan is the first of Abby's friends to fall, and his death sets off a terrifying psychological escalation. Ellie doesn't feel guilt anymore. She feels a sick, driving momentum. Every kill is an attempt to quiet the screaming memory of Joel's murder. But the real world refuses to let her lose herself entirely. In the middle of this dark crusade, the first psychological fracture hits. Dina collapses, forced to confess that she is pregnant. This revelation completely tears Ellie's mind in two. Dina was supposed to be her anchor, her light, the future. Now Dina is a vulnerability in the middle of a slaughterhouse. Instead of turning back to protect her pregnant partner, Ellie's trauma pushes her further into the dark. She leaves a weak, suffering Dina behind in an abandoned theater, hardening her heart. It's in this exact moment of isolation that Jesse, Dina's ex-boyfriend, suddenly tracks them down from Jackson. His arrival throws a wrench into Ellie's mindset. Jesse is a reminder of the morality and the home she left behind, and he wants to help, but Ellie is already blind to everything except her mission. Leaving Dina in the theater, Ellie steps back out into the rain, completely consumed by an obsession that is about to swallow her whole. Ellie becomes a ghost hunting other ghosts. Her obsession leads her straight to the Seattle hospital, where she corners Nora. But this isn't just a physical chase, it's a psychological chess match. When Nora realizes who Ellie is, she looks at her with a mix of shock and defiance, saying, "You're the immune girl." Nora taunts her, defending Abby's actions by reminding Ellie of the massacre Joel committed to save her. It's a massive psychological blow. Ellie is forced to hear out loud that her father figure was viewed as a monster by the rest of the world. Trapped in a basement filled with deadly spores, Nora begins to choke, coughing up blood. She is already condemned, but she still refuses to give up Abby's location. For the first time, Ellie doesn't just kill for survival, she actively chooses to torture. In the eerie red light, she raises a steel pipe and beats Nora systematically to force the truth out of her. When Ellie returns to the theater, she is physically shaking, her eyes hollow. She got the information, but she left a piece of her humanity in that red room. The momentum of her trauma won't let her stop. Armed with the knowledge that Abby is at the aquarium, Ellie pushes forward through a violent storm, breaking into the building alone. She doesn't find Abby, she finds Owen and Mel. Ellie tries to stay in control, holding them at gunpoint, demanding they mark Abby's location on a map. She tries to play the hardened interrogator, but Owen sees right through her fear. In a split-second window of distraction, Owen lunges at Ellie to grab the gun. A frantic, desperate struggle breaks out. Ellie shoots Owen in the chest, And as Mel rushes her with a knife, Ellie's instincts take over. She tackles her and drives a knife straight into Mel's throat. As Owen lies dying on the floor, gasping for air, he uses his final breath to look at Mel. Horrified, Ellie kneels down, unzips Mel's blood-soaked jacket, and stares in absolute horror at her heavily pregnant belly. This is the ultimate psychological breaking point. Ellie wanted to punish Abby for killing her father figure, but instead, she just became a monster who slaughtered a mother and her unborn child, the exact mirror image of what she feared losing with Dina. Ellie collapses on the floor, hyperventilating, completely shattered by the reflection of her own cruelty. Her vengeance hasn't brought Joel back. It has only drowned her in an ocean of innocent blood. The horror of the aquarium follows Ellie back to the theater like a dark cloud. She is done. Shattered by what she did to Mel, Ellie wants nothing more than to pack up and go back to Jackson. But the cycle of violence she helped fuel is already waiting at the door. Without warning, Abby bursts into the theater. In a split second of pure shock, Jesse rushes into the room to help, but Abby fires instantly, shooting him through the face. Jesse drops dead to the floor. Before Ellie can even process the loss of another friend, Tommy is shot and pinned down, and a brutal, desperate fight for survival erupts backstage. This confrontation is a complete psychological dismantling for Ellie. She is beaten down, overpowered, and forced to watch Abby hold a knife to Dina's throat. When Ellie screams that Dina is pregnant, Abby's cold, vengeful response is terrifying. Good. She is seconds away from slitting Dina's throat as ultimate retribution. But Lev intervenes, calling out to Abby, pulling her back from the edge of absolute monstrousness. Abby lets them live, leaving Ellie broken in the dirt, carrying not just the trauma of Joel's death, but the crushing weight of Jesse's murder and the terrifying realization of how close she came to losing Dina. Time passes, and the scene changes completely. We find Ellie on a sun-drenched farm, far away from the blood of Seattle. She has a family now. She is living with Dina, and together they are raising Jesse's son, baby JJ. On the surface, it's the beautiful, peaceful life she always deserved. But psychology teaches us that trauma cannot be outrun by changing your scenery. Ellie is suffering from severe, paralyzing PTSD. During a normal evening, a simple noise in the sheep barn triggers a vivid, terrifying flashback of Joel's dying face. She finds herself trapped in the dark, screaming, hyperventilating, unable to protect her baby from the monsters in her own head. She can't eat, she can't sleep, and she can't truly taste the happiness Dina is offering her. Her mind never actually left that basement in the snow, proving that while her body survived Seattle, her soul is still trapped in the trap. The fragile illusion of peace is shattered when Tommy arrives at the farm. He brings a map and a new lead. Abby has been spotted in Santa Barbara. Tommy is too injured to hunt her himself, so he passes the bitter burden to Ellie. Dina begs her to stay, pleading with her to choose the family they have built. But on a psychological level, Ellie feels she has no choice. She isn't leaving out of malice. She is leaving because her PTSD makes her feel like a ghost infecting her own home. Convinced that killing Abby is the only medication that can cure her mind, Ellie picks up her weapons and walks out into the night, abandoning her family. In Santa Barbara, Ellie tracks Abby down, only to find a horrific scene. Abby has been captured by a brutal faction, tortured, emaciated, and tied to a wooden pillar on the beach. She is a shell of her former self, driven now only by the instinct to protect a young boy named Lev. It is a twisted, heartbreaking mirror of Joel and Ellie. Yet, driven by the sheer momentum of her trauma, Ellie forces a brutal, exhausting knife fight in the waves. Even after losing 2 fingers to Abby's teeth, Ellie overpowers her, pinning her underwater, seconds away from finally taking her revenge. And in that exact millisecond of absolute power, a memory flashes in Ellie's mind. It isn't Joel covered in blood, but Joel sitting on his porch, holding a guitar. Ellie stops. She lets Abby go. In that split second, Ellie finally realizes that drowning Abby will not fill the void inside her, nor will it grant her the lost time with Joel. By letting her go, she breaks the vicious cycle of blood, but the price of her journey is absolute. When she returns to the farm, the house is completely empty. Dina and baby JJ are gone. Ellie picks up Joel's guitar, but with her missing fingers, she can no longer play his song properly. She can no longer hold on to the physical memory of Joel, and she has no family left to come home to. Ellie isn't free. She is completely alone. She went through hell to conquer her demons, but in doing so, she ultimately condemned herself to her absolute greatest fear, the one she confessed to Sam so many years ago, to be abandoned by everyone. She sets the guitar down, leaves her last link to Joel in that empty room, and walks away into the unknown, carrying nothing but the crushing weight of her own solitude.